Kris Van Cleave is also on Capitol Hill following the protest. He's right in front of, it looks like, the Senate side there, Kris, at the Capitol. Tell us what you've seen and heard since the formal conclusion of the event.
We're right at the base of the Capitol, sort of between the House and Senate chambers. And even here, well within that fenced perimeter area, you can see there are armored vehicles, inside officers in riot gear. If you follow me over this way, remember, we're in Washington, D.C. These vans are full of Baltimore police officers that have been down here, mutual aid, if you will. They were in riot gear up until a few minutes ago. They've come out of that protective gear. The Baltimore City Police command post is right behind it. So we know that we saw police from all over the Washington, D.C., Virginia, Maryland region come into the Capitol here to backfill the Capitol Police. You have some Capitol Police officers over here in riot gear. Dan, if you want to pan over, you can see those folks under the tent there and inside this Capitol Police bus. So even blocks away from where this demonstration was going, you get the sense that people have been on high alert all day. That alert level is starting to come down a little bit, as you can see officers starting to mill about here. They're out of their body armor, riot gear that they were wearing even 10, 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, so Kris, you're one of the few reporters we've seen a lot over where Catherine and Jeff were that are outside of that Capitol fence secured area. You're actually inside it. Talk to us about what you've been seeing, if you've been able to speak with any of the law enforcement officials that were there and what they had to tell you about this.
Sure thing. Just so you get a sense for where we are on the opposite side of the Capitol building. Here is the Capitol building. There is the dome. On the other side of the Capitol, and then go about 3 blocks, you get to where the protesters are. Most of the vantage points inside the Capitol, you couldn't even see where the demonstrators were. There were a handful of windows on the 3rd floor of the Capitol building that looked out over that area, so we were able to watch the protest from there, as well as, of course, on television. Inside the Capitol, you walked through today, there was clearly an elevated police presence, particularly. There are no members of Congress here. There are, but you saw a very heavy police presence as you came in. There were riot shields near any and every door. We've seen riot shields staged throughout the Capitol since January 6th. There was more of that equipment readily available should something had gone on. You have the fence line set up. They have these barricades that come out of the ground that can stop vehicles. Those were all in their up position to stop traffic from around the area. And of course, you've got this fence line. So very, very secure presence. When you get inside the Capitol today, it was almost empty. I mean, I walked into the rotunda at one point today, and I sat there. I timed it. It was 5 before I saw another person. So the Capitol basically deserted today, except for law enforcement and media here covering this. And what you're seeing right now is sort of a sigh of relief almost here. You're seeing officers come out of their riot gear as the crowd is dispersing. So what we heard from the Capitol Police Chief yesterday was they hoped that this would essentially be almost a giant training exercise for the next time there was a credible, viable threat of violence against the Capitol. They had hoped to go as it appears to have gone today, and that at the end of the day, this was a great opportunity to for their officers, for surrounding officers to sort of play out the planning that they had been doing over the last several weeks, to see what works, to see how these responses can buy down the risk to the Capitol complex itself.
Kris, you said that there's sort of a sigh of relief among law enforcement officials there now. The event is over. How soon until those 8-foot-tall fences come back down? Do law enforcement agencies still think that there is a threat at this point, or now that the event is done, the security concerns really are done?
Well, so the Capitol Police said they had hoped the larger fencing, and Dane, let's walk this way a bit. We're quite a ways from the fencing, but if we continue down here past the Capitol building, probably 3 blocks as far as you're walking, but basically the edge of the Capitol complex, you hit that 8-foot high, unscalable fence. There their plans, if everything went well today, is they could start taking that down as soon as tomorrow. I think from an optics standpoint, the Capitol Police would like to have the fencing out before the members of Congress come back on Monday. The fencing was a very divisive issue up here, where you had Republicans and Democrats who were very opposed to the fencing being a permanent part of the landscape here. D.C.'s delegate to Congress, Congresswoman Eleanor Holmes Norton, a Democrat, was insistent that the fences come down. Provided everybody disperses, provided there aren't issues that develop today, I think we could start to see fencing come down tomorrow. Certainly the Baltimore police that are here behind us are going to be allowed to go home, and you're going to see the footprint ramp down. D.C. police and Capitol Police will in full deployment today, and then they'll assess where they are tomorrow.
All right, Kris, thank you for the inside look inside the security perimeter. Appreciate it.
Sure thing.